I sort of like that one. I told them I was gonna milk it for a while. Because we brought it up a while ago, over the years, but it's such a perfect. Because I was thinking, like space travel and everything. It's always, going to the next frontier, but it's always through a body, yeah. So you're always moving ahead, and the body has definitions where it can't go. So then you seem to stop, that thing, whatever. Yeah, but the greatest journey obviously could be just back out of the body. Yeah, if you'd step out of the body, because it's more difficult to get step out of the body while you're using it to go somewhere. It's like jumping off of if a train's stationary, if you have the inclination to get off, there's nothing that's going to react to that. No fear of shit, you're just going to get off. But if you're on a moving train going 40 miles per hour, and then you have a thing about, I got to get off, it's a little, wait a minute, fuck, I'm going to get hurt if I get off. Yeah. So the beauty, can you hear us, Mike?
Yeah. I hear you.
All right, we started already. Whatever. So that idea of traveling is always usually associated through a body. Yes. And so, and even when the experience that happens, or the event, or the recognition, the body had no role in it, probably, like you get whacked, then there's the claiming of it, and now you're as a body have had this epiphany or something. Yes, you see. But if you go back and you step out, not step back with the body, but step back out of the body, which is where you actually are, really. I mean, that's us everywhere. There's all this. And then when everywhere is situated in a somewhere, with the head constantly cocooning you in this special somewhere, you'll seemingly forget everything. Just like a fish probably doesn't know it's in water. Yeah. Yet its water is this complete context. It probably has no idea. It sees things in the water, but it probably doesn't sense the water. So the idea of every sense we have is usually claimed and associated with the body is to step out of that, so to speak. Yeah. So you can't see, if you use a somewhere to get to everywhere, that's the, everywhere is another somewhere then, because all of the somewheres are in everywhere. So if you make a certain somewhere, and then everywhere becomes a certain somewhere, another kind of somewhere that this somewhere wants to get to, all the while in everywhere at all times. Yeah. So to step out of this, not step back as this, but step out of it, which is what non-duality does. It gives you like a reverse ladder, so to speak. Instead of climbing up, you just climb off. It's assuming that you're on a ladder already, and you don't need to be. So it tells you you're not that, and then you basically fall off or climb off, and there you are. Yeah. Yeah. So this idea of travel. And so this old song we were talking about I think it's from the 70s. It was a weird band that sucked most of the time. I don't know how they came up with these lyrics, because it's really quite good. But it was the song about, I just dropped in to check what condition my condition is in. Yeah. And it goes, doon, doon. Yeah, it's a cool song. So it's perfect, because that which is stating that it's just checked in to see what condition the condition is in is a condition. The song assumes it's you, so you are going to check in to see what condition the condition is in. Yeah. So you, as this idea of subject, is going to check out the objective condition. Yeah. But see, that subject is a condition in and of itself. It's just sort of the opposite of the object condition. Yeah. And so this isn't about adding another stanza, it's adding a statement before. So you're not that which just drops in to check what condition your condition is in. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. So the next move isn't going to be, I've got to respond to the report about my condition. You've lost interest in that report. And what you're responding to is before all that. So you're here, and you're, in a way, the body and your attention and interest can be moved, but what you are doesn't move. And he starts sensing that in his life. It's pretty cool. Because nothing like it is being demonstrated in what comes and goes. Nothing. Nothing. Everything usually, even if it stays steady, you got to do a lot of work to keep it steady. This isn't like that. It's just a real relief from all of the maintenance. Like we have spiritual maintenance and mental maintenance, all this. There's a relief of being the owner and the doer of all it. Yeah, it's awesome. So, because it's an innocent song, but again, the way we hear it and the way it was written, there was a sense that which is checking in on the condition that condition is in was not a condition. It's me. It's me. That's not us. That's not us. See? So this is adding a step backwards, not adding another stanza to keep the song going for 40, 50 minutes. Yeah. Because what happens if that which is dropping in to check the condition your condition is in, you hear its report all fucking day. Doesn't it? It talks about your past conditions and future conditions, and that you're the fucking one responsible for all the fucking conditions that it finds itself to be in. It's fucking insane. It's like an extortion, and if you tithe it, it's going to want more than 10% of your interest and attention. It is. It may start with 10, but it's going to demand more. And after a while, the condition of the action figure will not be it. It's going to be the condition that the mental condition thinks the action figure is in, is going to be the dominant theme. So you won't even recognize where you're here as the action figure because you believe you can be somewhere else in the subjectified action figure. Yes? So you're totally checked out, but you can't. The surveillance cameras have you there. The action figure is in Marin City. I don't care what you say right now. You're in Marin City. Yeah. There's other people right around here. Other people may have made better choices by going to Target across the street. Because they're going to get something there. At least it's going to be the something you can find in almost every other fucking store. Probably the store right next to Target. Miss Target would be the same. Have you ever noticed that? We rushed there. I remember Christmas, we were up at a Petaluma outlet factory, and Amelia was looking for gifts at the last minute for the kids or whatever. There was outlet, Gap, Banana Republic, J. Crew. They all had the same gear, same shit. They were really the same fucking car. It was just like, wow. It just went on and on. You went to 8 stores, but you only saw one presentation. It's insane. So this idea, oh, I just checked in. It sounds so innocent. Yeah, but no, what has checked in ain't you. Because you do not check in. Because you never checked out. This is like the Hotel California. You can never check out because you never checked in. It's not because you can't get out. You can never check out because you're not checked in. What we are is awareness of all this activity. And a lot of the activity is saying it's the one or it's that which is aware. It is. Now, you can live maybe a very cool life with that in place. Some of us, it hasn't worked out. Yeah, because some of us, we have different, let's say, degrees, or like, it's like liquor, you can get 80 proof or 150 proof. 150 proof is fucking gonna knock your socks off. 80 proof, 6 proof, you could fucking probably drink it. So we have different howls, like 2001, and some are just much more fucking extreme than the other howls. And when they take over the mission, it's a rocky ride. So it behooves us to start checking shit out, what's going on, because it's really fucking uncomfortable, irritable, restless, and what I see as a solution, the society sees as a fucking problem. So when I was getting loaded, it was working in some respects. The police took a huge offense at that. And they wanted to stop me from doing what I felt was bringing me relief. That's how I looked at it. I swear, I thought I was persecuted, really. What the fuck? This is the only time I forget about Paul is when I'm loaded. Well, then the police would show up constantly. I had this incredible, I had this incredible thing that when I drank, I found myself, I had magnetic appeal to people in uniform. Yeah. As soon as I started to drink, shit happened. It's incredible. All right, come on, let's go, sit down. All right, so, yeah. A great friend that's just come in. Let's sit, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, sit down. Ali, you can sit there out there against the wall. Yeah. I asked the church for more chairs, but they didn't deliver. So I may have one. Well, oh, there, the door's open. Wow, no one. Ah, there's the solution. See, we weren't going to find the solution, so we needed Noor to come to find the solution. All right, you can go now. I must, yeah, because if you don't, we're going to need them. If you don't grab them, they're going to come. So the bus just got, look at them. All the first class are upset. The second class has showed up. Yeah, they're not happy. It's okay. So it sounds funny, right? Little song, but it's really incredible because it starts with this premise of being that which is narrating the whole event, which is, oh, I just dropped in to check what condition my condition is in. Yeah. Now, there's two conditions, and that's the funny of that's the joke of the lyrics, yeah. It's talking about, I'm gonna check the condition of the condition, yeah. Sounds funny, but it's actually the condition, and the condition. So if you see two, you're gonna be at the effect of both, yeah. If you see the three, there's relief, because it's just like the same thing with an old Zen saying, you know, first there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there's a mountain again. Yeah, now I don't know if someone had an eraser or they cut the page or something, but we decided that there's a statement before that that changes everything. Because if you look at spirituality, let's say spiritual practice, there's a mountain, yeah, and you believe something's blocking you off, or you have a purpose that you're supposed to go over that mountain or get to the other side, you know, like in Buddhism, it's the other shore, you know, the distant this, that, yeah. So first there is the mountain. Now we got to get over this shit. And then with our practices and earnestness and devotion and grace, there won't be a mountain. Wow. So first there is a mountain, solid as hell. Then it appears that there isn't a mountain. Hallelujah. But as time progresses, yeah, which brings the frustration, because you figured, wow, just this is what happens. A lot of people have these peak experiences, and in their head, they believe this peak experience is going to be enough to turn the tide, and I'm going to be fucking on easy street, and it's going to stabilize. I'm going to feel fucking sort of great. Maybe this one lady had it when she called me up and says, I've lost my ego, but everyone else's ego is bothering me. You know, it's sort of like that. So this, yeah, you're going to lose something. Everyone else may still have it, but you're a select few and you're going to use it. Then you'll have to walk through the masses, you know. And then it gets a bummer when life restores itself as it is. So if there is the mountain, then there isn't, and then it always comes back again. And it's frustrating for the people who believe there was a mountain to begin with. What would happen if the stanza before it was there is no mountain? Yeah. So the fact is there is no mountain. That's the fact. Fact, underlying fact. Can't be moved, can't be changed, can't be affected by anything that comes after it. First, there is no mountain. Okay, now you're confronted with a mountain. And then you're confronted with poor vision, and you think you got to get over the mountain to get where you have to go. You don't realize, just like we just found out with Noor, there's a tunnel through the mountain. It may not be a huge event. You could just maybe get an Uber right through on the other side. And it's not even that great on the other side. You're going to be there. So, but yeah, so there's the mountain. Yeah, so here, but there's a faith that there is no mountain. And then the mountain is appearing and it's seemingly having all these effects and shit like that. And maybe you want the mountain to disappear, obviously. So you go on retreats and you meditate for 13 hours. And in a sense, the mountain disappears. Yeah, but then it appears again. Now you keep going on retreats, and then one time the retreat truly proves successful. Yeah, you stop going on the retreats, and now when the mountain reappears again, you have the fact that's going to create a sense of how you see it, which is there is no mountain. Yeah. Not a denial, because denial is trying to make something that seems super real to be unreal. It's a negation. Yeah. So the negation is not that the mountain appears or disappears, but there is no mountain. Yeah, that's the fact. And therefore you travel lighter through the appearances of stuff, because you can wish and do a lot of work and blow out, you know, those candles you used to get and you blow them out, but they go back on. This is sort of like, first there is the mountain, then there's not, and then there's the mountain again. Yeah. So this is beautiful. It allows you to see it differently. So when nothing fucking works, it's hallelujah. Instead of fucking nothing works. Yeah, you're so pissed off that nothing works. Now you're like, incredible. Nothing works because I am what I am looking for. Yeah, wow. And what happens? What you are doesn't change. Yeah. What happens to what changes is the looking for it. You lose interest in looking for what's looking, because now, you know, like in the other previous thing, there is no mountain. Yeah. So I'm not interested in the great exploits of people getting rid of the mountain only for it to appear again. I'm not that interested in that. Yeah. I see it as, oh, it's fine. I'd like to live vicariously, but I don't see any point of trying to blow out that candle if it's going to go back on. So just let the candle keep going. Yeah. So why? Because there is no mountain. It's the same thing in recovery. Recovery, there was tons of, at a certain point in this event, this dreaming, there was no solution for addicts or alcoholics. Yeah. I remember I used to speak at St. John's Church in the city, and they had a big Bible, and they would have a page turned, and which they must have read at their meeting. And one night I was going through and I stopped and I read it, and it was a psalm, and they were bitching about the winos. Even back then, they'd have we can't fucking deal with these fuckers. Yeah, winos. So this thing, people would be put in an attic or mental institutions, or Uncle Fred living in the garage. You know, there was no real solution. Yeah. And so if you believe that you were in a hopeless condition, wouldn't you want to try to get out of it, like drinking or using? Yeah. But then in 1935, there was a solution. It appeared, came through these dudes. They hit the right number and they got relief from this unbearable, seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. Wow, fantastic. There is a solution. Yeah. So because there is a solution, you can talk about everything. If there was no solution, we'd be talking about other shit, trying to avoid the fucking elephant in the room. Yeah. If it was about you getting out of you, we fucking failed. And better people have gone before us, drug addicts, spiritual people, whatever, who have worked super hard to get out of you as the you, and it hasn't worked. But there is a solution. You're not that. That's the beauty of it. Yeah. I don't believe spiritual text and shit started with non-duality. I believe non-duality is how spiritual texts can be used to mislead us. Yeah. Yeah. So there had to be an answer to that answer, because that answer wasn't working. Yeah. And the answer was not to, you know, the answer was Ramana Maharshi. Hey, there's a presupposing of the non-existent thing, AKA the body, to be what? An existent thing with a name and a number and a this and a that. Yes. All fine as a form of expression, but not as a fact. Yeah. And it says, okay, if this is the case, that non-existent thing now taken to be an existent thing is looking for salvation for itself. Yeah. And the next statement is your spiritual practices themselves. So not saying you uniquely, it says anyone. The spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the non-existent thing as what? As an existent thing. That's what they're reinforcing. Yeah, how can they destroy it? It's a good thing to sit with for a second, right? So presupposing, which means when the non-existing thing is supposed, it's presupposed. You feel like a historical non-existent thing that's existent. You do. Just like you feel like a historical doer. If the sense of doer could only arise at the moment of doing, it would be easy to see through. But when the moment of doing is claimed and the doer is implied, it's implied as a historical doer.
Yeah.
Feel like you've been doing this shit for 50, 60 years. Yeah, yes. This is time and space being used in the dreaming. Yeah. So this whole idea of the non-existent thing taking itself to be the existent thing, where is that being happening in the mental activities? The mental activities is pasting the existence onto the body and starting the body to be first, and says the body is what's existing, which it isn't. It's existence coming, let's say, through a body. Doesn't seem like it would be that important, but it's usually important, because of course, if that which comes after is put before, you've neutered the grace of before. If you're the before and there's nothing before you, and when you have an idea of God, it's this playing God. Yeah, then the before has been neutered, and that's where the solution lies. The solution lies is there is no mountain. The solution doesn't lie in how to get over the mountain faster. There is no mountain. Yeah, the solution lies in the before. The mental process of this presupposing, I humbly feel, in this place of time, it's the quickest process. Yeah, let's say there's quicker process of beating the heart and the blood, but I mean the process of when something happens, immediately it's stated what's going on. So there's a doing, and then I'm immediately presented as a doer. Yeah. And so if that is the quickest process and no other process can get before it, then basically whatever comes after it is going to be influenced by what's before it. So if I'm taking myself to be a self, and then when I sit down to do something like meditation, I feel like before I even hit the pillow, the head has me as the meditator. Then what happens? I'm going to try to meditate myself out of the meditator. You're not a meditator. So that which is before is going to affect that which comes after. So a lot of things we believe we can undo after they're done. But in this case, you can't, because this is the act of being identified. So everything that you do to undo it, you'll be doing it as it. Yeah. To undo self, you're going to be self trying to undo self. And we have a very clear experience in recovery. We have a large community all over the world. People ran into a very similar situation and they came up with an observation. Self can't get out of self. Because that's exactly what they found themselves doing. Yeah. They were trying to get out of the problem as the problem. They didn't know the problem is the act of being identified. They thought they already were it, but they've never been it. This is the beauty. The head has you, you already are self. It's not like, oh, don't watch out, you're going to become a self. No, it has you as a historical fact, which isn't a fact. So everything bounces off that historical fact. You've got to question the fact, obviously. And you can't question the fact from the head, it doesn't work. You question it from wherever what you really are, which is that awareness. Yeah. And something is revealed. You see the emperor. Maybe you have a lot of peak experiences when you see the emperor with no clothes, but usually it puts on a different wardrobe and it fools you once again. This is, you see the emperor with no clothes, and no matter how much it's wearing, you know the emperor has no clothes, just like you know there is no mountain. This is fucking concrete knowledge that doesn't come from books or shit like that. It comes from the I am. Yeah. there's a fact that's before and beyond everything else, and it's us. We're in that neighborhood and in that vicinity, but not as what we're taking ourselves to be. We're not taking ourselves to be. The head is taking ourselves to be it. Yeah. So it's described exactly the same thing. Course in Miracles. A lot of people like the Course in Miracles. Firm in faith. Oh, it says we're actively denying what we are. Can you imagine if we walk into the coffee shop today and we go to the guy who's, are you actively denying what you are right now? No, it's making a latte. Yeah. But in fact, he's at that moment, he is representing the active denial of what you are. And then so it's a beautiful dualistic view it's explaining, right? So this is going on. Then it says, and your head has made this something else. Something has made this something else to be yourself. So, yeah, there's something else that the head has made to be you. Firm in faith in that. So the faith now is firm in what you're not, yeah, and at the expense of what you are. And when we want to make what we are incredibly important, it's being used to reinforce the importance of what we're not, because it's going to be you as what you're not, looking for what you are. Because if you're looking for it, there's an unclarity about its real condition, which is you are it. Yeah. You don't need a fucking mystical therapist. You can see it. If you're looking for it, there's an obvious sense you're not that. Now, this is what happens with a lot of people. They get, oh, there's looking for it. I'm looking for it. No, you're not looking for it. And this is not going to be another order on your spiritual plate. You got to stop looking for it. No, you're not that which is looking for it. That's the beauty of the message. You see, there's looking for it. You're not that which is looking for it. Just like you see that which is saying it's dropping in to check in on the condition your condition is in, you lose interest in all those conditions because you're not it. Yeah? That's the beauty of it. This is not another, it's like going through, in Ocean Beach on a lot of surf days, the waves were really incredible, but there would be a wall of white water. Yeah, there would be you'd have to fucking work to get out past this wall to get to the good waves. Yes. So this is sort of the same thing in a way. Truth is presented. We don't want the presentation of truth because it seems like it's going to demand more of us. And we failed miserably in so many other fucking things. It's a drag. So when they go, oh, you've got to give up your opinions. Wow, fuck. How do I do that? You know what I mean? That would be an opinion. You know what I mean? So you get through one wall and then there's more orders. Okay, you've got to stop fighting everyone and anything. Oh, wow, shit. That's going to be, I don't think I'm going to succeed in that endeavor. But this is another step where you see you're not that. So the response to the truth that brings a lot of fucking disassociation won't. Because you'll see that which is reacting to the truth isn't you. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Yeah. So it's hearing the truth about it. Yeah. And it doesn't like it. It doesn't want to hear that it's a fraud, it's self-centered, it's this, it's selfish and shit like that. It's trying to avoid that in a lot of ways. Yeah. What allows the truth to really do the work is to see you're not that which is reacting to the truth. Because the truth is about what you're not. It's not about you. It's about what you're not. This is how you can do a fearless and thorough inventory. You can't do a fearless and thorough inventory on something that you believe is you. There's going to be a lot of blind spots. You don't want to check that out. You know what I mean? Just like when you're looking at something, it's nice to have someone else who doesn't have a vested interest in it to talk to you about how they see it, because you're blind, you're myopic, you're thinking this means so fucking much. It's not a good direction to follow. Yeah. So you have a mentor or a sponsor like in AA, and they go, if it's such a great idea, you should be willing to run it by someone else. And then you run it by and the guy goes, you're fucking crazy. Don't drop that right now. You know what I mean? It sounded great up here. Yes, I know. This is the head's playing God. So the beautiful thing is this, we're going back on that song instead of that, oh, just the assumption. What's the assumption is, I just dropped in. Sounds like it's you, doesn't it? I just dropped in. Who? What? What just dropped in? Where were you? Lingering. I just dropped in to check what condition. All right, well, I'm following that. To check what condition the condition is in. Yeah. Have you ever been in a zone, like if you're cutting hair, like with me painting houses, you'd be working and then you would just be off. No thought, you could spray like fucking ceilings, just go off, get in the zone, surfing the same thing. The action figure doesn't need a lot of checking in on its condition. Yeah. It doesn't have to know, like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. It knows it's moving towards the bathroom. It doesn't need, I'm going to the bathroom. Like my girlfriend always has to announce when she's going to take a shower. It's like 4 bulletins, and then finally the shower's like, I'm going to take a shower. I'll go, all right. And then 15 minutes, hey, I'm going to take a shower. Okay, I got it. I got the bulletin. Let's go. Take the shower. So this is how it goes. Yes. When you're in the zone, is anything checking your condition while you're in that zone? Yeah, so the action figure does probably much better without intense surveillance. Yes, it does. And especially having the cops of time, you shouldn't, it's just like fucking, hey, this is nice now, but it won't, like this. So, but if you believe that which is dropping into be you, you're going to believe its reports about the conditions that you're in. And then you're going to have to try to work out of this imaginary condition to get into a better condition. Yet that which is going to tell you your condition is fucking whimsical. It changes its mind. You'll be in heaven for a minute and hell in the next minute. Yeah, so we need to see, and this is about not traveling away from it, it's stepping before it. This is not I try to get out of it. And I would match my trying to get out of it with anyone who's ever tried to get out of it. With my particular trajectory of shooting coke and shit. I would match myself with any fucker. Yeah. I'm telling you, it was amazing. It took so long to realize I cannot get out of an imaginary place. It's impossible. But I gave it a damn good try. Yes. So this is not about that. It's not about trying to outrun it. It's about stepping behind it because it can't go back. It cannot go back. You can. What you are, it can't. Yeah. It cannot go back. That which is in front of the camera cannot get behind the camera. You are behind the camera, taking yourself to be that which is in front of the camera. You can now have that little valve broken and then see this activity. And when the activity is just grazing pasture, there'll be nothing that's dropping in to check in on the condition of the condition. Yeah. Or whatever is, there's been a loss of interest in it. And so what you're doing is definitely going to overrun what you're thinking. Finally. Seriously. Yeah. So there is a solution. In non-duality, it's the basic fact. It's not a solution. In non-duality, while there's a problem, there needs to be a solution. When you entertain the solution, there is no problem. So it's in the most economical, most efficient solution, it disappears because you don't need it. You're like the living solution. You don't have to apply anything. I'm already applied. It's already here, whatever I am. I don't have to get a little bit of me and then apply it to what I'm not. I can just see what I'm not from there. Yeah, yeah. It allows an ability to travel lighter, which it was hard to find that ability. from that thing that was dropping in constantly to see what condition my condition was in. I couldn't stop it from dropping in, but I can lose interest in it. That's for sure. I can. It's really not worthy of much of interest. I don't follow yours. I don't give a shit what's checking in on your condition. I don't at all. But I don't have that immunity to this. That which is held as me checking into the condition seems to be much more important to hear than your little whatever you are dropping in to talk about your condition. It isn't success when you've lost interest in everybody. It isn't. And you have extreme interest here. That's not, it doesn't work. I'm totally indifferent to everybody. No, I could do that when I was loaded. I was totally indifferent to everyone. I could care less. I really could. I mean, I reached that spiritual climax a long time ago. Doesn't work. Yeah. You see, you lose interest in this activity. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm humbly believe you can't do that as that which is dropping in. Just don't see it. Yeah. All right. Wow, what the hell happened here? Someone was I still on then?
Yeah.
My screen went blank. Yeah.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I think if you want to open it up there.
Okay. While we're waiting too, I was I was remembering a metaphor you used to use that I really liked. When you said something like, when the before seems to get placed after, then the grace seems to get lost. You said something like that. And that reminded me, and you haven't used it for a long time, is the slinky metaphor. Remember the slinky?
Oh, yeah.
It's been a long time. I love the slinky.
Oh, you do?
So I had to put in a plug in for that.
All right, the slinky. I'm trying to remember.
You don't remember the slinky?
I remember the slinky, but I don't know what I was attempting to capture by the slinky.
Well, it's the same. You say it all the time, but just like that comment, I tried to paraphrase that you said. You know, if the before gets placed after, it's kind of like.
Yes. So that's the movement of the slinky.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Down the thing, and it builds its own momentum. Yes. So something is presupposed to be true, and then you work hard at making it less true or untrue, or I hope it won't be true in the future. Yeah. So there's a lot of trying to chisel away the preformed statue, and it's still just a fucking block of stone. Yeah. It's selfing, really. See, I come out of the community of recovery, and self is a big word in recovery. But in fact, the activity of it is selfing. It's a verb, like everything else here. It's verbing. So, and there is no self doing the selfing. There's selfing. It's a mental activity. Pretty much if you go in, well, because usually when you go into any process, you're already taking yourself to be self. So yeah, I mean, that's the going into the memories. Yeah. It's not like you go into the memory, nothing, and then you remember yourself as a something. No, you're going into the memory, seemingly remembering yourself as a something already. And then the memories reinforce it. Yeah. So the selfing is just a mental activity. It claims ownership where there isn't any ownership. It claims doership, seership, hearership, thinkership, feelingership. And that noun that comes after is presupposed to be before. So now you believe you have a lot to do with a lot of shit you have nothing to do with. And I remember as a kid, it was very, very strong, where if I walked into my first grade class, I truly believed everybody was thinking about me in that class. And then when I walked out, I would stop, and I was thinking they'd all start talking about me. Yeah, I did not learn that. That was there. Yeah, it found its expression when I was in a larger group instead of my little family, when I went to first grade. And then when a girl would say hello to me in school, when I was older and she was pretty and I was thinking about things, and I would go home and wonder what she meant by it for hours, you know? Does she like me? Does, you know, just insane. It's just like the circling this idea of Paul, that circling was reinforcing it. But the idea of Paul had a feeling of his history. This is the trip. This is only can happen here in time and space. The most you are is remembered. It's remembered. The doing isn't even emphasized. It's a tool to remember the doer. Yeah, and the doer, and these are the blocks that when you look at it, it takes a seamless, long-lasting, independent, separate entity appearance. It seems like one solid thing, but it isn't. It's a claiming of a lot of stuff. And then this vision, this image is the representative of all that. Yeah. And then a lot of times the poor image being the representative of all these activities, the magnification of those activities in the mental glass is fucking extreme for people. Some people have to do something to shut it up. It's unbearable. They have to eat or they have to drink or they have to do something because it's super loud. Now, the loudness isn't built into the system. It's the faith in it that makes it as loud as it is. Yeah. And faith is the commodity. And we are the source of faith. It's sort of like, what is that thing that's all the cell phones are made of? They all want to get that shit. It's a certain ore that's in Peru or something. Lithium, but there's other ones even more.
Ytterbium.
Well, it doesn't matter exactly. It's just the imagery of what it means. Yeah, but that,
Rare earths.
yeah, yeah.
Just say rare earths.
Silicone?
We go to Google search and find out. It was beside the point, but it doesn't matter. So
What? Don't look up. That's when you really get.
it's just the yeah. So selfing has, you know, you feel time. You must have a sense of it. Yeah. And it's manufactured. It comes from us, really. And you know, you can see it can drag, it can go fast and stuff like that, but its greatest use is the trick of that which comes after is before. That's its greatest trick. So selfing,
Right.
it makes a concrete suggestion without stating it clearly. It just suggests, and then the head imagines the idea of self. Yeah. So the idea of self comes after. And you can just use this one example to see that that which comes after is presented to be before, because once the person hears about selfing, they call me up and go, I've been selfing all day. Yeah. So the self has been presupposed to be the one that's doing it, the one that's making the self up. The self says it's the doing of it. See, it's insane. So you already have a flavor of time. Something is using time to make a fact that isn't a fact, a historical fact. That's why most people, they are always in pursuit of trying to get out of something. Very rarely do they stop and ask if they're in. That's why the who am I is so valuable, because before you go on your next journey to get out, just ask, who is it that wants to get out? If it's not you, what the fuck, why are you being moved? Yeah, because obviously it's taken to be you. And therefore you want to get out of that you, and therefore there you go. But the out of you is the biggest in, really. Getting out of self is the biggest in self. Biggest. It's where all the money is made, out of self. Yeah, I mean, retreats are expensive. They are, aren't they? Retreats are expensive. And then if the retreat was smart, they'd have their own travel agent. It's like my Amelia's son is very good at soccer. So he's in this federation of soccer, and they have, like, say, the day after Thanksgiving, tournament in San Diego, First game at 8 o'clock. So Amelia had to drive on Thanksgiving to go to fucking San Diego. You can only stay at one of our assigned motels. And we want him to go play in Spain. And so did they say to everyone else on the team. And you got to buy out tickets. Yes, it's like a fucking unbelievable. They got everything, you know, I'm going, the map of, when I played Little League, it was in Rockville Center. They're going to fucking Idaho, 4 days, this and that. So what the hell? Soccer mom, you got to be an international traveler now. It's just like going, this is a fucking grift. She's a crowd. If you don't, you know, rent from us, he can't play in the tournament. That's fucking weird. This is, you know, this is
So the
insane.
kicker is if you don't do it, your children will be disappointed.
Of course, that's the greatest play on them. You don't want to, I mean, the adoration of the kid, yes. I'll drive 4 states, yeah. My mother would just say, fuck it, walk to the field. Walk to the field. But Ma, I may be accosted going home, fuck it. Your older brother, just yell his name loud. And my older brother would come out and fight the other people. My mother's, fuck, I'm not going to Baldwin for a Little League game. Now they're like going 3 states. Fucking insane. So.
I did it with a granddaughter, so that was a ticket to get in. A full scholarship to college.
Yes.
One of the kids, so.
Yes, I know. It's goes on and on and on.
They gotta buy.
But I don't want to go there either.
Yeah.
I have done, so the slinky, I can't remember the whole slinky thing. I know it's sort of,
Dynamic.
yeah. Once you're in the business of getting out, you're gonna be blind to not being in, obviously. The head will get invested in it, just like we had the old, well, I'm gonna go to an old story, the poopa scoopa story. Because it gets this one very clear. So this is even better than the slinky, I think. The poopa scoopa story. So there's the guy, has a beautiful house, beautiful lawn, has a lot of pride in that lawn, though it, you know, the grass just grew. Yeah, he believes he has a lot to do with it. And he rents it for like marriages and croquet tournaments and picnics, and he goes out every morning with no shoes on, jumps on this grass, runs around in the morning dew, does angels, just loves it. And then one day he does that and he lands in some shit, some dog shit. So he gets all over his foot, so he goes back to the porch, first accommodation to the situation, no more barefoot, puts on some shoes, walks around the property, there's a lot of shit. Stinks, and he's got a big tournament this weekend. He said, what the fuck, you know, I got to get rid of this shit. So he goes, he starts picking it up, and then he feels like he got it all done. He goes back in, goes back out in the afternoon, there's more shit. So he's like, fuck, oh, just pulls down the thing, starts watching, you know, the bluegrass of Kentucky or something. He's just longing for the old days, and he's bitching to some people, and they're having the same problem. There's a lot of shit going on. It smells all over, and I've got important things to do. And then they're actually getting together and having meetings, and he's going to the meetings, and everyone is fucking bitching, and they're, let's kill the fucking dogs and their owners, and we're getting pretty wild. And then he realizes, he looks at a YouTube thing, and he sees this little thing called the poopa scoopa, and he orders one, and he starts using the poopa scooper, and he gets pretty good at it. He's sharing at the meetings, and they're liking it. Hey, he gets 2, and now he's really picking them up. And he gets, you know, if he works pretty hard, he gets about a 4'8" piece of grass with no shit for a few hours. Yeah? Sounds all right. And everyone's liking him, and now he goes on speaking tours to these other people, and he's a big circuit speaker, and they have videos of how fast he can pick up the shit. And he realized, yeah, I'm gonna have my own autograph model, poopa scoopa, starts selling them, writes a book, you know, just like this, gets a matching jacket, you know, a jumpsuit with it. He's got the whole thing going on, picking up shit, you know, thinks, wow, the problem's solved. And it's really, I'm doing great. And so some guy comes in and says, hey, I heard you had a problem. I said, I don't have a problem. I'm the fucking solution. Don't you see? Mr. Poopa Scoopa, I'm on YouTube, I'm circuit speaking and shit like that. I'm like Dear Abby for dog shitting things, whatever. So the guy goes, well, just find the dog. And the guy goes, you would think he would run to that solution, but no, the head's invested in the problem. He likes being a circus speaker. He likes to be the master of picking up shit. If you get rid of the shit, there goes my job. So he doesn't run to that solution. He thinks he has a solution. And this is the dilemma with spirituality. When you build up a spiritual resume with all those years, who wants to be shown to be off of that? The head is going to be viciously against any recognition that you are what you're looking for. Yeah, so this is why we use Slinky. We used to use it for the same thing. And the idea of the cell phone, it isn't about the mineral. It's about it's a parable, so to speak, about what goes on in the head. Because I've seen it. I've seen the head. Yeah, I went on at least 30 cocaine retreats, 10-day retreats in my life. And I survived them. That's 300 years of having new assholes drilled in you. Totally wired out with the police and everything. If that doesn't kill you, you're gonna get wise. Because the head had a chance to really play itself out. And it always overplays its hand. It does. It can't help itself. Yeah, it's never happy. It wants it all. So I saw a lot. And then when I got out of that and got sober, and I was introduced to non-duality, the answer, all the evidence needed to trigger that answer was already there. I just needed to hear what I needed to hear, and I heard it as non-duality, and that's why we're here, really. Because this is what made sense and triggered real relief from all that. Knowing it didn't trigger the relief. Yeah. Knowing it as not me, that triggered a relief. Yeah. And so, and I feel you cannot believe as a doer, the burden a person who's addictive, alcoholically or an addict and shit, because you're going to be driven to do a lot of crazy shit. And if you're bound as the doer, you may make the amends and everything, but you'll probably be ghosted by guilt and shame for years, because the stubbornness of thinking you're the doer is incredibly stubborn. Yeah, so I know people now, they've been 40 years sober, but they're still affected by a lot of past. The past looms large, the guilt and shame, because they're cast as the doer of all that shit. And I saw it, and I saw it wasn't me. And I remember I got caught by an amends. Some lady walked into a group, I was there, and said, hey, Paul, do you remember me? And I said, no. She said, you owe me $500. And you would think I would feel guilty, ashamed, but I didn't. And I said exactly how I saw it. I said, well, what I did to you, I would have done to anyone else unless you could physically stop me. And that was the fact. And I paid her those $500. But the fact was, I did not do it. I was compelled or driven or used to do it. And that became clearer and clearer over the years, super clear. And non-duality made it very, very clear. Yes, yes, because there was no way. The doer is not going to be changed much by doing different things. You're going to be caught in the duality of the policeman and the thief. You were bad and now you're going to try to be good. It doesn't work out well. Yeah. So, yeah. So anyone have anything there?
Still no hands. And while we wait, I can let you know that Martin's going to is going to host next Saturday. He's the latest Paul Hedderman Zoom identity.
All right.
So
I hope he does better than the previous Paul Heddermans. I'm seeing.
Paul Hedderman 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6.
Wow. Should break the mold.
Turbo.
There's too many of them there. All right. Anyone have any questions there? If not, we'll just, no one wants to say anything here. Right?
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee. She gets unruly after an hour. This is her nap time. She usually goes out cold. Yeah. Then we drop nuggets and then they blow it up inside and a realization occurs. We drop a little Nizagadada nugget. Yeah. All right. That's a good product. That Nizagadada nuggets for your next trip. You're sitting on the plane, wake up. All right. Anyone here, Mike? We're gonna wrap it up here.
Still don't see any hands, so yeah.
Mike, can you put the event pages up? Because there's only today on this.
Yeah, Kathleen informed me. I let her know that she can tell me when it's down to 2. She didn't want to bother me, but I said that wouldn't bother me.
All right, well, we're gonna be, it's gonna be the same. I'll have to let you know, we may not be able to be at the church next week. I'll let you know Tuesday before Wednesday. They're having another event here. All right? All right, so let me say goodbye to everyone. First of all, some of you are gonna come to coffee, yes, all right. All right. We have Kathleen. Thank you, Kathleen. Fantastic. Keep an eye on everyone, Kathleen, please. Axel, yes. John S, yes. Martin. John M. Nice to see you, John, again. Thank you for your share the other day. Terry in Camarillo. Saraswati. We got Kenneth. I don't know who this is. Jamie and Barbara.
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Jamie, and this is my wife Barbara, and I've listened to you for many years, and just as good as usual. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. Thank you for dropping in. Yeah, that's great.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Jackson. Al in Vegas. Al. John K. Eric P. Zoe. She's our missionary in Japan. How's it going? Yeah. Good. David Bitterman. She's in a lonely outpost in Japan, Zoe. Roman Mueller. Crispy. Matthew. Anu. Say hello to Anu.
Hi.
Yeah. We have
Hey,
Mike
Paul,
M.
sorry I couldn't
Nice
be
to see
there in
Mike M.
person.
Let me go to.
Sorry I couldn't be there in person today.
Yeah. We feel you here, and the lovely dog, Kenneth. I get to say hello to Saraswati twice and Terry twice. Wow, pretty good. And Kerry. Steve, a phone number, Christine and Kona, Andre, Mike R, Holly, Matthew. Hey, listen, thank you so much for, holding the space with us, and we'll see each other soon, I hope. Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.